I should have brought my brochures.
I kind of hit you back, from when you sent me the video.
Right. You see the video? Yeah, we got to talk. I got some brochures, I think some business cards in my truck. I'm going to get it just in case. I'll be right back.
How you doing? All right. Good to see you.
How you doing? Tony, please meet you.
Hello.
All right.
In charge of the place. I got
Sergeant and wonderful Chief Holmes, so I want to thank you for coming as well. I want you guys to know that we would not be able to do what we do without you guys, without the continued support of you guys coming out and the participation. So this is Tag Night Youth Speaks, and before we bring over our first speaker, we'll start with our first. So again, I apologize for the mic.
It's okay.
And Antoine, I would introduce you, but I feel like I would do a disservice to you if I introduced you. So please introduce yourself.
Good evening. How you doing? All right. Take these off. My name is Antonio Hendrickson, and I'm the founder and CEO of a nonprofit organization called Lead by Example and Reverse the Trend. It's, we focus on public safety, youth development, and we are credible messengers. What I mean by that, we are the message that we bring. I name our organization Lead by Example because I understand through my studies and engaging with the youth that you cannot change their thinking by force. You can't change their thinkings by word alone. The only way that you could possibly have some type of effect on changing their ways is by setting the proper example. So we named the organization Lead by Example. I'm not going to be long, but I want to lay some pressure on your mind to get you thinking. I'm from Harlem. I'm born and raised here. I want to speak on 3 aspects of my life to give you a glimpse into my past, my present, and what my future looks like. My past, I don't glorify, I don't romanticize, I don't glamorize that. I know some people make a lot of money talking about their past, and they want to influence your thinking in a negative way. I frown on that behavior. So I just want to give you a glimpse of that, and then you can compare what it is I did in my past and what I'm doing today. In my past, I ran the streets, right here in Harlem, on 145th and Edgecombe, 132nd, 8th Avenue, 122nd in Lexington, 117 in Madison. I sold narcotics. I ran the streets. I carried the gun. I wore the bulletproof vest. I had a crew. I made what people consider to be a lot of money, but to me it was no money. Because had I did it right, I probably would have made a lot more doing the right thing. I went to jail. The first time I went to jail, I did one to 3 years. I did 2 years in Comstock. They call that the Gladiator School. Why they call it Gladiator School? Because there's a lot of killing. Jail is hell. Hell means to be cut off, isolated, and restricted, and that's what I was in. A living hell. You could cut like a knife through the atmosphere because there was so much tension. You had guys in there that had forever. They was never coming on. You thought that that experience would have taught me a lesson, but it didn't. I came back to Harlem. I got back in the streets. But this time, I went a little harder than what I did before. I started going out of town to Baltimore, to DC, and doing things down there. And before you know it, I got a federal indictment. The FBI picked me up when I was going to court in Baltimore for a case and said they had a warrant for me in New York City. I said, you sure it's me? Because this is the big league now. This is the FBI. And then they said, yeah, we want you. Show me everything. So they extradited me back to New York, put me in MCC on 11th floor. I was up there with John Gotti, Sammy the Bull, and a lot of known figures in that world. I was very young. I was 25 years old. I was facing life sentence. I had 23 co-defendants. Most of them I did not know. I had Africans, Italians, men and women, and I did not know most of them. And they had me with this charge called conspiracy. Conspiracy means to breathe together. It's an agreement of the mind. You got unwitting co-defendants and you got co-defendants that are known in your case. And you can be cased up and don't even know it right now. Right now you could be under investigation and don't even know it. So while I was up there, not knowing what I generally make bail. I couldn't get bail because the government don't give you bail. You can have all the money you think you in the world, you can't get out. This is the United States government versus you. That's what was on my indictment. Because I didn't know about the law, and ignorance of the law is no excuse, I opted to go to trial. I went to trial and got 22 years and 10 years supervised release. And then they sent me to Terre Haute, Indiana. It was in that place I began to take inventory on my life. And I started to make changes in my life in the penitentiary. Will kill us because in the feds, those who have life is going to be there until the sun burn out. There's no parole. So I'm in this environment. I'm making a conscious decision to change my life. And I said to myself, with the help of God, if I get through this, I'm not going to come out the same way I went in. So I began to read. I went back to school. I began to develop my mind because I knew my mind is connected to my soul. I knew my mind needed to be strong and my will needed to be strong. And will is a faculty of consciousness, especially of deliberate action. It is the control that the mind has over its own action. So I wanted to be in control. I didn't want nobody to influence me. See, when I came up, my uncles were hustlers here in Harlem. They ran the street with the likes of Nicky Barnes, some of these people you see in American Gangster, Frank Lucas, and I looked up to them, and that's what I wanted to be like. But I didn't understand the end game. I didn't understand that this leads to prison, this leads to dying in the streets. I didn't see that. All I seen was the nice cars, the jewelry, and these things, and that's what attracted me. And there was nobody like me today to talk to you who I could have been to tell me about these things. So I'm here today to tell you about these things so you will know if you ever think about getting involved with that, what the end results will be. So after that, I went in there, I did what I had to do. Eventually, I came home. And I came home with a program. Because while I was in there, I started to see the culture, the prison change. A lot of young people coming in, and they were gang members. They were gang affiliated. And they had no sense of direction. And I wanted them to know that this is not about that. You don't come in here to get in more trouble. You come in here to get yourself prepared to go back out and live differently so you won't have to ever come back in this environment. Because the question I ask is, what did I do to put myself in here? What can I do to prevent this from ever happening to me again? And so I put that question to them. But anyway, we were able to rehabilitate or redirect 500 gang members and change the culture in that prison. But the South Bronx gave me an opportunity to demonstrate what I can bring to change the culture of violence in a place that was violent all day, every day. We were able to do something up there, and we started seeing the change because there were guys that was on probation. They were either getting shot or being shot at. And they was afraid to come to the probation department because they didn't want to get shot. One guy got shot twice on 2 separate occasions. He said, I'm not coming. So they asked me to talk to him. I went to his house, I spoke with him, I said, come to the program. We will escort you. And we started to work with him. Eventually, that young man started coming to probation on his own. He got a job. He successfully completed probation. The program worked so well in the South Bronx, we started it right there in the Dempsey building here in Harlem. Been there for about 5-6 years. Eventually, it caught traction, and now we are citywide. Even throughout COVID, we ran the program via Zoom. We have more people participating in the program now than we ever had before COVID. Over 1,000 people have been through the program since COVID been in existence, because it's easy access to do it in Zoom. For some reason, and we have put a lot of young men and women through our second phase of our program, where we actually got them training like culinary arts, customer service, business management, OSHA, food safety, and we're getting them jobs. What I want to say to you, and then I'm going to tell you about my future. And I'm going to tell you what I do in Harlem. Because I work with the summer team program. I had a lot of youth working at a couple of my establishments. But this is what I want to give you. We have to have a moral backbone. Don't be afraid to say no. It's better to be alone and to be in the wrong company. It's better to be alone than be in the wrong company. People that don't help you climb want you to crawl. And as you grow, your friendships are going to change. It's going to change, because if you don't grow together, you grow apart. You're going to leave some people behind, and it's all right. Because at the end of the day, you don't need nobody that ain't being productive to speak into your life. They don't have the right to speak into your life. Non-productive people don't have the right to speak into your life. Never forget that. Be around those who will stretch your vision and won't choke your dreams. If somebody is negative about what it is that you want to do positive in your life, get away from them. Bad influence. If somebody is negative, right, and you want to do something positive, and you share that with them, and they ain't got nothing to say positive about your vision for your life, get away from them. They're no good to you. Remember, the people that surround you every day that you take for granted, that put their pants on and they dress, and they go to work, and they punch a clock and have a career. These are people that's in the community that you can model your life on. They are positive. And when we trying to be like this rap music, I like it, but I don't like it. Because words are powerful. Words create, words can save, and words destroy. And the lyrics that's in the music is destructive. And our children are listening to it. And some of them are they tell them to take Molly, to take this, to take that, and then they start doing it and they not themselves, and they go out and commit a crime, and when they come down after that, it's too late, you're in jail. You're in jail. So your mind, your ears, you got to guard it from everything. From what people say, from what you listen to, and the music, you got to guard your mind. So, that's what I wanted to give you about that. Right now, I'm moving to another phase of my organization and program. We own several businesses in Harlem. When you see legends all over, that's our business. And it's under my nonprofit. Because I employ young people. And I hire people that can teach them something. And I want to inspire them to be great. You live in a community, you should serve your community. You should own a business in your community. It's not hard, it's easy. And if you want to learn about that, I will hold classes and I will teach you. My credit score is 781 to those who understand what that means. 781 is an excellent credit score. What that enabled me to do? Buy a house with my signature. Go get a car with my signature. What that tells the people who's giving me these loans, that I'm responsible. Never had that before. This is the real world. Lastly, you're going to be you're going to be older a lot longer than you're younger. You're going through a phase now. You might be 15, 16, 17. But 4 or 5 years go by quick, and reality is going to set in. Now you're an adult. Now you're going to be held accountable for everything you do. So learn your lessons now. There's a proverb that says, train up a child in the way it should go. And when he gets old, he won't depart from it. I love what the young lady was doing with you up in here, saying positive things, meeting and greeting, because we get away from that. We need to get back to that. And we are a village. We are family. And once we have that attitude, and attitude is the manner, the disposition, and the feeling in which you regard a thing. It is a tendency and orientation, especially of the mind. Once we can orientate you and say we family, then we won't be so quick to hurt one another. We won't be so quick to put each other down. Once we start instilling and giving us a glimpse of what real love looked like. Love is a verb, it's an action. Love is showing you I care. Yeah. I don't have to say it, I'm gonna demonstrate that by what I do with you and for you, and what we do to each other. So, family, I've been invited by the good Rev. I appreciate him allowing me to come here and spare a little time with you. But if you ever on 137th and 138th, we have a juice bar lounge. You're welcome to come there. Just say I didn't talk to Antonio. Can you call him? I would set it out for you there. If you're up on 145th, 146th, we have Legends Lounge. It's a bar lounge. You can't get nothing to drink because you're not of age, but you definitely can get something to eat. And we got a seafood spot on 135th, 136th, and 7th Avenue. It's called Legends House of Seafood. And we're gonna open up one on 137th Street and 138th and 5th Avenue. And I will be needing help. So jobs will be available. And we will treat you with respect, because I respect you. Your voice is everything. Use it. Learn everything about your community. If you want to be the alderman, a senator, a state, whatever, get involved. You want to be the captain or the police department, you got to talk to the chief. He can share that. He's a mentor. Am I right, chief? Everybody's a mentor. A mentor is nothing more than a wise teacher, an adult that you can be guided by, that can teach you and show you the proper way of living this life, because we have more experience in life than you. My past, again, I don't glamorize, I don't glorify, I don't romanticize that. Because everybody that I know from my past that was in the streets, if they didn't change their life like I did, and that's not many, they're either dead or they're in jail. Or they're a bum on life highway while reality passed them by. Don't be a bum. Live in truth. Live in reality. And don't be afraid to say what? No. Now, I got a pledge that I would like to do with you. Is it all right?
Yeah.
Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance, to my own self-respect and to the respect of all people on the planet Earth. All who are my family, my friends, my equal. I pledge to use all my energy, my strength to be a better person, to build a better society, to do what is right, even when no one is looking. That's our pledge, man.
Any questions? Come on, we got questions. Come on, young people, any questions? In the back?
Here and see this journey that you came through in your life, and for you to have the courage to come up, not only to share your story here, but the way you have set this example from starting from the bottom, starting your life over from your mistakes, and having such a great outcome. I just want to salute you.
Now, one of the things we do here at TAG, we ask the real questions.
Yes.
We don't play here. Right. Now, I want to ask the question because this is a safe zone. Nobody judge you. How many here, and I know some that's not here, I wish they were here, but how many of you here had an idea or thought?
I was just thinking about the future.
Wow. That's good. That's good. You know what? I applaud you for that. Anybody else?
Hey, how you guys doing? I just want to co-sign something. I remember just growing up in Brooklyn and, you know, hanging around people, hanging around kids, you hanging around the crowd and want to fit in. You know what I mean? You want to be down. You want to, you know what I mean? And especially nowadays, it could relate to today's age, because today with social media and everything, and yourself in the person, there's going to be a little voice in the back of your head that says no, and that word stood out to me. You know what I mean? No. They want to lead you down the wrong path. You have to be strong enough within yourself to say, no, that's not me. That's not who I am. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool if they don't talk to me. I'm cool if they don't hang out with me. I'm cool if they don't like me.
Say it again.
Yeah. And you gotta be fine with that, you know what I mean? Because you gotta stand for something, you gotta stand for yourself. You know what I mean? And listen to that voice, because that voice is always, most of the time, it's gonna steer you in the right direction. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? I try to talk to people, you know what I mean? Especially when I came on the job, try to talk to kids, try to talk to the youth. But because I wear a uniform, you know what I mean? They dismiss me or they don't listen to my words. My first event, first time coming here, and it just touched me enough where, you know what I mean, I felt the need to say something, especially to the young kids. You know?
Altogether,
Yeah.
22.
That's, can I ask the next
Sir,
question if
come
it's
on, stand
not,
up.
if I'm not too old?
Come on, come on.
Thank you.
Stand up. If you under 22 years old, 22 years incarcerated, longer than most of you in here was born.
Can't open a door.
Tell about your experience for those 22 years.
Go in your bathroom when you go home, close the door, and imagine living in that type of environment with another human being pissing in your ear. Imagine being told to get up and stand up when you're tired and you done came from work, but you got to stand up for a count.
Now, let's stop right there. Now, how many of you got brothers and sisters? How many don't even like your brothers and your sister in the room with you at times? Okay? 22 years, you have no choice in the bathroom with you. Think about it.
Humiliation. Your family travel to come see you, depending on where you at. If you're in the Feds, you might be in Colorado somewhere, and it's taxing you. So to go on a visit, you have to be searched. Or when you come off the visit. What does that look like?
Stand up, stand up, stand up.
Strip butt naked,
Stand up.
cough, rub your fingers through your hair, open your mouth, move your tongue around.
Now stop right there. Because most of you, and I know some law enforcement, and I know some of you young people could testify to this. You have problems with people rubbing up on you, just in the streets. By order, where you have to literally take off your clothes, bend over,
Right, talk about the real.
talk about it.
Yeah, you gotta bend over, you gotta take your clothes off, turn around, bend over, and spread your cheeks. While they look up your rectum
To see if you have
to
drugs.
see if you have any contraband.
Make sure you don't have contraband.
Make sure you don't have contraband.
Thank you.
But y'all don't want nobody bumping into y'all in the streets or bumping into y'all or touching y'all or being y'all space. Because a lot of y'all talk about invading your space. You ain't got no choice in this matter. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, it's a hellish condition to live in. I don't recommend that on my worst enemy. The gang culture is real in there. It's a lot of killing. And I mean like close up stabbing. You know, I witnessed somebody get stabbed up, chased down the corridor. We was leaving from work and they ring the bell and everybody's transitioning. Guy running down, one guy's running, and they caught him and killed him right there on the spot. I mean, if you're not strong mentally, emotionally, it's trauma on a whole nother level. A lot of people go through that, they don't come back from it. I'm just grateful that I was able to hold myself. You know, I had a lot of people praying for me. And then I believe in a higher power too. So I tell you, the stuff that you see on TV, when they try to make that place look like it's all right, or you hear people talk about how it is in there, they want to go to jail or they want to shoot somebody to get points. That's stupidity onto the 10th power.
Thank you for being
I get more
honest.
respect. I got respect, but I get more respect now. The mayor, Eric Adams, I know him. I spoke on the same platform with whoever believe that. I get contracts with the city of New York to do workshops throughout the 5 boroughs. I sit down with the commissioner, with the Bronx Borough president. The people I know now, I would have never known. I would never knew them had I never changed my life.
How long did it take you to like achieve economic stability?
Like, was it a quick process or did it take like a couple of years?
Patience is a virtue. This is like, unfortunately, young people, this is something that I see a lot of my young people, my young family, they don't have no patience. You want everything right here, right now. You didn't start like that. You didn't start, it took time. If you go back to the beginning of your and my existence, right? From when we started with coming through the womb of our mother. It's a little biology, right? It was probably the activity of copulation and getting together was probably in haste. That was fast. But the process of us developing was stages. So we can't, that's how life is. You know, you start with a thought. Then you start moving on that thought through work. And work is force times distance equal work. You start working on it, you work on it. And you have to have the proper attitude because you're gonna have some setbacks, and setbacks are set up for comebacks. No, it wasn't, I didn't get it in a vacuum, it took time. But I methodically planned out my life, and I had plans, and I had goals, and I execute my goals. Short-term goals, intermediate goals, and long-term goals. And I will measure my progress along the way. So it took me maybe about 3, 4, 5, maybe 4 years to get it all together. And then after I got certain parts of it together, then everything else just took off.
Come on, let's give Antonio a big hand.
Okay, all right, can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
How impactful it is from your perspective, how having the positive influence from men, how it helps, how it elevates the situation for what's happening to the young woman around them, from your perspective, because some of them may feel like this don't relate to me because I'm not a guy and I'm not in that situation. However, sometimes with lack of guidance, there comes the teen pregnancy, there comes welfare, there comes court systems, there comes homelessness, there comes other situations that will set up women where they're not in the right trajectory, even though they might feel like they don't relate to your situation or your presence. I want you to share that with everybody.
That's a good question. A nation can't rise no higher than its women because all of us come through her. Unfortunately, because you beat a man, you beat an individual. But when you hurt a woman verbally or physically, you hurt the whole nation because all of us come through the womb of a woman. Civilization is measured on the state of the woman. If the woman is elevated, then she's going to produce a high civilization. If the woman is low-minded and dog-minded, then she's going to produce that coming from her womb. Why? Because she's the first teacher. She's the first nurse. But how does that relate to you and me? Men, we have to get our act together so we can be a real man to them. Because they want a leader to lead them right. But if you're not together, then you're going to lead them to nothing. And you're going to produce nothing. The husband or the father, he's supposed to be the intellectual, spiritual, defender, economic producer, guiding force in his family.
Right.
This is what he's supposed to do. His name supposed to be hallowed and respected, but he got to do something worthy of that.
Right.
I don't like the fact that we treat our women the way they has been treated and portrayed the way they're being portrayed.
Talk about
This is the greatest gift. Let me tell you something. I'm just going to say it. The community in the world would be a better place if our women were elevated.
That's right, tell them.
If our women were elevated. I'm telling you. Until we start elevating, respecting our women, and protecting them, if we don't do that for our women, no matter what ethnicity you come from or with, then you just ought to just kill yourself, because that's what you're doing. Just go kill yourself, because that's how important she is. That's how important she is. So start respecting yourself, treat her with dignity and respect, and let me say this to you. Sometimes we act out of ignorance because we just don't know no better. But if you know what she don't know about herself, then you give her that respect in spite of herself. Does that make sense? Yes. That means you have to tolerate that. You have to be patient, and hopefully one day she'll come around to her senses. All right. Thank you for the time.
Antonio, don't go far.